Thank you for doing and hitting that button. Okay, I think we can move ahead and to the next part.
Which is me. Yay. Let's see, where is my presentation thing? Here. Um, yeah, this is just a quick presentation to welcome you all and talk a little bit about what to expect in this program. So welcome, you're the most recent Nebula program trainees. We are really, really excited and honored that you trust us with your time. So let's talk a little bit about what we are going to do. So together we will explore concepts and practices in open science and apply them in our work one step at a time. So the idea of the program is to have different modules with different themes, so you can think step by step on how to apply open science principles in your own work. Think of your own research project or some community project that you want to apply in your own lab or your own university, your own research institute, some sort of open science practice, community of practice that you want to implement. Anything like that can be applied in this program. So the delivery team is composed by me and Sarah. Sarah is not here today, but she's the trainee and community lead of OLS. So she's kind of overseeing all the trainings that OLS offers, including Nebula. And you can reach us in this email that is on the screen. We also have that in several communications. Let me copy that in the chat. Where's the chat? Where's the chat? Here, chat. Here's the email. And OLS is composed by more than 500 members. We are a large community of people who have mentored, facilitated, contributed, shared skills, and graduated from OLS trainings. The other training that we had was Open Seeds. My picture is over here. Let's, I can't see other pictures, so small. But now you're part of that too. You're part of this large global community of open science practitioners, and you're now in a select community, so feel free and take advantage of this large community for your own benefit. And yeah, as I said, you're
Graciela,
here with
sorry,
us.
are you
Yes,
showing the presentation? Because we can
I
just see the
was.
iPad.
Really? Oh, sorry. Stop
That's all
sharing.
right.
Share again. Ah, now you
There
can
we
see the
go. That's
presentation.
better.
All right. So I was showing all the pictures of everyone who graduated from OLS training in the past. Ah. All right. So the Nebula program is a 6-week long program with cohort-based training, hands-on practice, and group coaching. We are going to talk about what each of these components mean throughout the training. The coaching sessions will start next week. They are group coaching sessions meant to for you. Think of it as office hours where you go to ask questions or ask for more guidance or feedback about your own project, your own things. And the training is aimed for people interested in applying open principles in their work, sharing responsibly, inclusively, and effectively. So as I was saying, you can expect training calls, which are these things that we're doing now, interactive sessions with introduction to resources, because the sessions are kind of short compared to all the things that we need to talk about in open science. They are more introductory lessons, and then we expect you to look for more information throughout the program and then bring the questions and the extra resources that you find out to the coaching sessions. So in the coaching sessions, you are going to ask questions like, is GitHub right for my project? How do I learn more about it? or any specific questions that you have about the sessions that you didn't have the time to ask, or if you missed the session and you catch up in the recording and something is not clear or you want more information about specific things, you attend the coaching session, and then that support will add on to the training. And beyond the program, there are discipline-specific questions and things like which software library is best to analyze plant distribution patterns. Sometimes you can ask these questions in the coaching sessions as well, because our coaches have expertise beyond the topics of the program that can relate to your own work. And so the modules, they are distributed something like that. We have the ethos of open science, so you're going to learn about why it's important, what it is, and what's the idea behind it. Then you're going to learn a little bit about tools for open science, so things about metadata, documentation, repositories, things like that. Then you're going to learn about data, open data, what is open data, FAIR principles, etc. Then you're going to learn a little bit about code. What is open code, how to write code in a way that is engaging for your community. And then there will be sessions about how to share your research results in an open way. And then during each training session, we are going to have structured facilitations with the help of our amazing facilitators. Today is Saya. She's going to be our facilitator for today. We're going to use a lot of shared note taking. So we ask you to join the session in a device that allows you to write in the notepad as you participate in the Zoom call as well. We are going to do a lot of breakout rooms. So also be mindful to join from a device that allows you to participate seamlessly in breakout rooms. And you're asked to follow a code of conduct, which is basically just be great, share the responsibility of making this a welcoming environment. And if anything happens, just reach out to us, either the facilitator or the host for the call, which is often me. Please bookmark the one from a pet to room them all. Let me copy the link in the chat. We have one from a pet for the cohort where you can find all the links for all the other Framapads, the Zoom link to join the calls, any other extra information, anything. We're trying to compile everything in this Framapad. As I said, please join each call from a device that allows you to participate by writing and speaking whenever possible. And make sure to communicate your participation mode preference at the beginning of each call. So this process of adding your name and adding a W or an S to the Framapad will happen in every call. So be prepared to, every time that you join the call, open a Framapad. First thing that you do is add your name, your preference, and then answer the icebreaker question. And as I said, we have a shared responsibility to make this training experience excellent. So your participation will be very important. Your respect for each other will be very important. And if we don't contribute to that together, then we won't have that much of a good time. So in breakout rooms, there will be a button to ask for help at the bottom of your screen. I can't show that now because we are not in the breakout room, but take some time to explore that in the first breakout room. If you don't find it, let us know. We are going to find a way to show you how to find this ask for help button. In each breakout room, please remember to introduce yourself, be kind, and speak 1/9 of a time, and share one thing at a time. So that's to facilitate the conversation between everyone. So take your time to think of what you're going to say and say one thing at a time. The optional coaching sessions, they are thematic group coaching. So we are going to have up to 5 participants per session. They're going to run through weeks 2 to 6. And the scope of the sessions are to provide feedback, answer questions about real-world applications of open science, and recommend resources. So you can ask your coach about extra resources to learn more about topics on open science. You are going to be required to fill out kind of a template for a coaching session where you're going to articulate 1 or 2 questions you want support in. We are going to send that out to you, but you will also be at the Fremapad, the central Fremapad, a template. It will be a Google Doc, and you can copy that to your preferred shared document platform. And we are going to share that with the coaches beforehand so they can read what's the support that you're looking for and prepare to the meeting. And so we are going to ask you to register to each coach session at least 3 days in advance. So we're going to have sessions on Wednesdays and Fridays. To sign up for sessions for Wednesdays, you should sign up by Sunday. So we have time to confirm on Monday with the coaches and send the document to them. For sessions on Fridays, you should sign up on Tuesdays. So we have time to prepare. Important resources. So again, we have one Fremapad that contains all the links that you're going to need. We have a website that we are in the process of updating. There is a public calendar. Let me copy the link. If you didn't subscribe yet, please do so. This calendar will contain the most up-to-date information on sessions, if we need to cancel anything or update any information. We have a Slack channel. If you didn't join yet, please let us know. And as I already said in the chat, we have a central email where you can contact us. We also, OLS has an office hour and co-working session every Friday at 11 UTC. These will also work as some of our coaching sessions, but feel free to join anytime if you want to co-work or meet other people. And there'll also be a link in the announcements channel. And that's pretty much it. Thank you and welcome to the community. And yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to send in the chat or unmute yourself.
And the questions might arise later in the mid or at the end. So no need to rush on that thinking part just yet. But once they arrive, feel free to ask them out. It could be in the chat, send that email, could be on the Slack channel. You have different mediums of communication. Please feel free to use whichever feels the most comfortable at your respective pace. Lovely. Let's move on to the next part, which is our session today. So I will give Virginia the screen and anything that I have to do? No, that's about it.
Thank you, Saya, and hi everyone, welcome. It's always like a big responsibility to be the first one speaking, but I have been an OLS student myself, a trainee like you, so you never know. And just something that I really always like to say at the beginning is that not because we are on this side is that we know everything or we are better than you or know more than you. It's like in this community, we all learn together and we're always learning new stuff. So that it's also why it's so nice and relevant that we come together from different parts of the world with different backgrounds, and this is just a learning process for everyone. So there's no dumb question. If you need for us to speak slower or to repeat something, just feel free to do so. And yes, let's get started. So I will share my screen actually just for a little bit. And you should be seeing my screen now. Okay, perfect. So today, the idea is to talk about what is open science and why is open science important. And this is like just the basis of why you will be seeing what other training sessions cover. But actually, we will start with an exercise instead of me talking about it. So we always start asking you, the people who are joining these training sessions, what do you think open science is before actually starting with the training and the cohort? And now I will share, or if anyone in the chat can share the link, it's also in the front part to this Menti application, which basically you have to write 2 or 3 words that come to your mind when thinking about what's open science, and we will create all together a word cloud. So I will actually stop sharing for a second. Yes, thank you, Saya, for sharing. So I will give you 5 minutes for everyone to write and then share what's going on. So amazing. I can see that already some people are joining and writing their responses. Don't worry, there's no correct answer. Oh, great. I will actually try to share this with you live so you can see how this is working. Amazing. So I'm really happy to see not only collaboration really big, but also accessibility, which of course it will be covered throughout the course, but so nice. Okay, lots of sharing, research, fair and transparent. Someone mentioned not code. Fair. Open science can be something or actually something that's not. Cool. So we have had many responses. Amazing. Science that it is for all. That's a nice one. And also science that it's public. Great. We still have 1 or 2 more minutes in case anyone else wants to join.
Virginia, we have a small request in our chat, which
Yeah.
mentions that maybe the volume could be a little high, if that's a possibility on your end.
Oh, yes. Let me just double check with my phone, with my.
The second. Um,
Let's check. Input.
Professor Pradeep, I just clicked on the link and I was able to open. I'm not very sure if there is a VPN or something blocking on your end.
Mm. Don't worry, the idea would be to share the link on the Slack channel that Graciel mentioned. So there are people that maybe couldn't make to this training session. So this will be open for another week. So in case you cannot open it now and you want to try with another device or in another day, I will definitely share this. And I don't know, Saya, if now people can hear me, I cannot see the chat right now.
I am able to hear you loud and clear. So, and I reckon
Hmm.
if
Okay.
you could give us a heads up, that would be amazing, so we know.
Yes, and
All
feel
right.
free to stop the conversation, to put the hands up. Or Saya, please feel free to interrupt me whenever you see a comment in the chat. Cool. But I think now the word cloud is not moving. But really interesting to see some of the words, and particularly accessibility. I don't think that has come up such strongly in previous cohorts. So I'm really excited about this, that people are conscious about it and have that in mind. So hopefully, not only we learn how to do open science, but also do it in a accessible way. Cool. Okay. So let's begin and see a little bit of what we're gonna be doing today. So basically, today we have this training session that will be divided in two main topics. The first one will be what is open science, in which we are gonna go through a definition of open science, talk about a little bit of the motivations and the goals behind it, and the who in open science, who is the person or are the people doing open science. After that, we will have an exercise. It will be about 15, 20 minutes in the breakout rooms. Actually, this was shorter, but I think many people in previous cohorts mentioned that they actually like chatting to each other and getting to know each other. So we will be extending a little bit this time. So hopefully it works. You will have to tell us about it. And then on the second part of the training session, we're gonna go through some examples on why is open science important and how it can benefit not only your career, but also advances in science and in society in general. And we will close up the session with a small exercise that is actually sharing some stuff in the prompt pad. And again, at any time, feel free to interrupt me or raise your hand, or please do ask questions in the chat and maybe Saya can let me know afterwards. So let's begin and let's try to describe what is open science. So actually, like you know, this whole training session is based on a NASA project and program. And there is a definition there which says the following. So open science is a principle and practice of making research products and processes available to all, while respecting diverse cultures, maintaining security and privacy, and fostering collaboration, reproducibility, and equity. And this is an adaptive definition. But of course, it's a really big one. So do not worry. We will break this down a little bit in order to see what's going on here. So in this first part of making research products and processes available to all, this definition is basically behind what you also chose to put in the word cloud, that open science shouldn't be just for a small subset of people. It actually should be open to everyone, to even to people who do not necessarily do research or science. And especially so if the science that other people do are funded by public funds. So at some point, it should be available to everyone in society. And this should be done while respecting diverse cultures. So it's really important to foster an open dialogue between researchers and also to consider other people, like indigenous people, local communities who have other types of background and knowledge, which are so rich and so important in many studies. And sometimes, unfortunately, are not being considered when taking decisions or involved in the process of open science. So it's really important to respect this diversity, to respect the laws and customs from different countries and different cultures, and to try to apply a little bit of each of the cultures to make it more accessible and diverse. Having said this, and we do strive to do open science and as open as possible, it's true that there's certain information that could actually be sensitive and should be protected and kept private. So not everything should be open. And this is something that will also be a little bit more discussed afterwards. But just having into consideration, for example, people who work with personal data or medical data of other people, those kind of things should have a certain level of security and not shared publicly necessarily. And finally, this idea to foster collaborations, to make things more reproducible, so repeatable, and to make this a little bit more equitable. So collaborations and reproducibility are basically related to research standards that are expected from open science, while the latter refers to the inclusion of people who might otherwise get left out. And this is where especially barriers like funding, language come into place. So thinking of ways to make it more accessible in this sense is what they are looking for. So basically, we could actually summarize this idea of open science as a way to do science in an inclusive, diverse, equitable, and accessible way. I think that's a really nice acronym and a really nice idea of how to actually remember what is open science. But it's not that there is actually a correct definition. There is not a definition. Open science can mean different things to different peoples, and for example, the level of protection or of openness can vary. So here you have a variety of 3 different definitions from, for example, the European Research Executive Agency, which says that open science is an approach to research based on open cooperative work that emphasizes sharing of knowledge, results, and tools as early and widely as possible. So, for example, in this definition, it's also including a timeline on when they should be applied. Whereas, for example, in another NASA program mentions open science as a nuanced way of sharing the process and products of science, a much wider definition. And there's also the UNESCO one, which defines open science as a set of principles and practices that aim to make scientific research from all fields accessible to everyone for the benefits of scientists and society as a whole. So, for example, in this case, UNESCO also wanted to focus on who actually benefits from this. So you may be more comfortable with some aspects of open science than others, or your focus could be on maybe the how or the why or who benefits. But at the end of the day, the primary idea is behind it. So even though we're gonna see a little bit more about this in part 2, wanted to go through a little bit of the motivations and the goals behind doing open science. So basically, while by opening research and by opening these activities, we can enable greater transparency in the scientific process. And this makes scientific knowledge more accessible to the public and can also help combat misinformation, which is something that occurs more often than it should probably. So doing open science can also facilitate the reproducibility of research, which is a characteristic that is really important to be able to get the same results if doing the same analysis. And finally, it also enables collaboration and inclusion. So communities working together on a problem can actually find rapidly new results, and even the feedback from other people can validate them in a more robust manner, making science much more impactful than before. And why now? Well, even though maybe the idea behind open science could have been from many years ago, thanks to these digital resources that are now more readily available for us, like the internet or having a computer or having shared documents, has helped eliminate some of the barriers for digital collaboration and even in a global scale. But of course, it comes with its challenges, and not everyone can actually access a computer or access internet, or like I told you before, the language mainly. We mainly use English to try to reach out to people in science. It's like the main language used nowadays, but hopefully with AI or with other people joining, we can get more people to hear and learn and do open science with their own languages. And now that we've seen a little bit of the motivations and the why now, we're going to go to who does the open science, who are the people and then these players that are involved. So actually, when people think about science, maybe they just think about this mad scientist in the lab with a coat, with the hair all gone crazy. But many people are involved in doing science and open science. And these will be referred to as stakeholders. And these are the ones that actually do and or are affected by the outcomes of open science. So we can have, for example, not only the researchers, which of course are in the center or play an important role here, but educators and mentors play a really important role. Also community managers or the policymakers who have to take the information that gets from science to actually be effectively used in the citizens in their countries. And why not even citizens who can be part of some scientific activities of citizen science? So there are many ways and many people who are involved and are affected by open science projects. And even though we may think that it's a really straightforward thing, there are different interactions between science and society, which honestly, if done correctly and taken into consideration, these are really advantages. So here are just some examples of how all of this is intertwined. So researchers are the ones who do the science and they share the results with the policymakers and then to the general public as well to inform their decisions and improve their lives. But the public is the one that actually helps fund the research with taxes and can provide input to future areas of study. And it's the policymakers who help to implement the measures that are informed by scientific results. And all of these affecting the environment and livability of society. So like you can see, all of these, how to say, I lost the word in English, sorry. All of these players have different roles, but it's not necessarily as straightforward as one would think. Cool. So now we will actually go to the second exercise of this training session, in which you will go to the breakout rooms. And the idea would be to introduce yourself and mention what type or types maybe of open science stakeholders you are. So are you a researcher, an educator, a policymaker? Are you just a citizen that wants to actually learn how to do open science? So we will share this exercise with everyone. And I will stop sharing for a second so I can see you. Great. And I will write the exercise in the chat so everyone can have it.
While we create the breakout rooms on the farmer pad, line number 119, you will find the room number and the name and the notes. So make sure that while you are in your breakout rooms, some or one of you could take the initiative and fill these sections. And once you come back to the main room, we will collate your notes and discuss about them, like what stood out during the discussion session, what could be done differently, what maybe there could be some gaps that we might not have discussed in the session but could have come during the breakout rooms itself. Those discussions and points are very valuable. So do not skip those thoughts. Add them as notes. So we also have visibility to them and we learn and share together in this process.
Shall I open the rooms?
Yes.
Okay.
The
On
idea is to have
March.
15, 20 minutes for everyone to be able to share their experience and who they are.
We have all of you back to our session today. So hope you had a fruitful discussion in your respective breakout session. We see a lot of interesting answers and thoughts on from our pad here. So thank you so much for dropping those. Now it's time to gather and summarize. This is a very interesting question, like who are we in open science? What is open science mean to us? It could be something that it touches us in a personal form, a professional form, something that we work directly, indirectly, things that help us to reach our goals. That could be a future one, that is something that you are currently working towards. All of these are interesting to think about. So I will invite any of you who want to come unmute now and share their thoughts. The discussion that you had respectively in your breakout session, if you want to come unmute and also share with us. No pressure though.
Hello,
Hi,
Hi.
can you hear me?
loud
Perfect.
and clear.
Okay, excellent. So, my name is Fotis Mistakopoulos, and I was in group 4. We were all writing, so we we tried to have a little bit of conversation, but let me tell you the highlights. So there were 3 of us: Hernan, Maldonado, Ebuka, Ezeike, and myself. So Hernan is a novice researcher in the field of computer science as a computer science engineer, and he couldn't define his role per se because I think he doesn't have the experience with the definitions yet. But I think from asking him a question, I understand that he's like more of a user of open science right now. He's trying to understand the concepts so he can apply them in his research. And Ebuka is a science communicator, so and the manager of the Africa Archive repository. So that's preprints. So I would say he's in the community open science, and science communication is a part of courses we described earlier of open science as a science communicator. And myself, I am simultaneously a researcher as a PhD student, and I also work for a research infrastructure where we try to develop services and in parallel, work with communities to raise awareness on topics around open science. So this is what our group was. And these are the highlights, I would say. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you so much. And this is an important distinction that we could be consumers, we could be practitioners, we could be someone actually applying it in our day-to-day work. And all of these is what makes this ecosystem thriving. It's like nature. Not everyone, it's a relationship, it's a symbiotic relationship, which everyone works together in order to make this ecosystem a healthy one. I will try to read some of your responses out and loud, which I'm gonna eyeball and pick few and read it out. But should anyone else wanna come unmute and share their views? Please feel free to do that.
I
Okay,
can
here
share maybe, sorry.
Lovely, please go ahead. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm going to tell you about the breakout room 7. Something great was that most of us was researchers. We were with Lynn, is a researcher in neuroscience. Charlie Amoya is a lecturer researcher in respiratory disease and immunology. And there was Mohamed Ahmed, I think that's correctly spelled. He was lecturer at Armaya University, and I am Maite Barrena, researcher in coastal ecology and small-scale fisheries in Patagonia, Argentina. And we all agree that we are data producers and users as we are data managers. We all value the practice of reproducibility of workflows, like our codes on GitHub, and we agreed in that we were interested in cross-disciplinary work, and we all were excited to see how we could contribute what we learned here in this training to contribute in our communities. So that's what we've been
Thanks for
talking about.
sharing. Amazing. I love how each one of you were able to like establish the grounding of the work that you have been doing and how it connects to the open science overall and what this session and perhaps the entire cohort will lead towards. So connecting the dots, and finally we'll have the picture of what does this openness and science and technology come together as humans first, for sure, because we kind of invented it and we are consuming it. We are adding more, we are deleting a lot. I have thoughts on AI, which I will keep to myself because I will take an hour to express those. But we can have another session on that for sure. Lovely. I think I love that we got you able to like speak up and share your views here. Apart from that, I also see a lot of interesting perspective from students, practitioners overall, from the computing industries, from microbiome data world, as analyst, computer science engineer, a researcher, cybersecurity. Love that. We have diversity. We know the different aspects that we comprise of. It's definitely just not one thing. It's many, and that's the beauty of it. We will now move on to the second part of our session, which is on why is open science important. I will give Virginia the ropes for the next couple of minutes, and then we will regroup and think about what we just saw and learned.
Thanks, Aya. And just like a comment on what we discussed before, this idea that we can actually be more than one stakeholder. It's not necessarily that you are either one or the other. And you can be multiple at the same time, or even be a dynamic thing where you start being something and then you move to another thing. So there's many ways that this can work out. So there was no correct answer again. It's just what works in the moment and the role you're doing in the moment. But this is not like written in stone. You can actually be so many stuff. So cool. On that note, yes, we'll move to the second part of this training session. And I will share my screen. And in this part, the idea is to see a little bit of why is open science important. And for that, we will see some examples. But basically, I think we all know that there are many challenges, some that we know of and some that we don't know of, that we will have to face and we are facing as a society. And these dynamic challenges actually demand new approaches to science to achieve a success and actually be able to tackle these barriers and issues we have in a responsive and inclusive scientific ecosystem. So this requires more diverse teams with more eyes, hands, and different ways of thinking and different ways of solving issues to actually get to the best solution possible. So the benefits of open science can actually be at different levels. You get benefits to you, to science, and even to society. So we're going to go through the three of these, just mentioning some things that we can get from each. So, and this one is a really important one, and I can say for experience that you are your best future collaborator, and having well-documented products and having explained precisely what you did, why you did what you did, why you change something will eventually be so important for you to be able to do that again and to never lose access to the type of research or processes that you went through. Also, it's a great way to give and get credit for the things that you do. This strengthens the scientific community, and actually you can see that you may think that you're the only one doing something, and necessarily probably is not the case. Probably other people are struggling through the same. So this is something that could help you interact with other people. And this is also something really cool about the Nebula program and open life science in general, that you get to meet other people from different maybe countries and backgrounds, but who can actually help each other solve their problems. And not to mention the fact that while acquiring open science practices, you actually get more visibility and maybe even more impact for your career. So you could get like increased citations, work with more collaborators, and this cross-disciplinary that I think Maite mentioned, it's also a really cool aspect of being open. And just as an example, a personal example, even like something as silly as it sounds, as sharing a script or maybe something that you did online, but having it there in the open and making it reproducible can actually help you even get a job about it. So definitely recommend thinking about the ways that being more open in science could help you. But the benefits are not only just for you. Of course, science benefits from this. You get more transparent and reproducible and accurate science by allowing people to actually check what you do and whether the results are correct or actually responding the question you had is really important. It also improves the scientific literature, like mitigating publication biases, improving how much we trust what is being said, and not to mention that it can actually lead to more discoveries than you thought. Maybe collective knowledge can accelerate these scientific discoveries and maybe plan some more effective ways to actually tackle some of the challenges, or to use it in a different and in a new perspective. So here we brought an example of this solar and heliospheric observatory, which was meant to be used to study the sun. But actually, the researchers realized, thanks to opening the research to the scientific community, that this tool could be also used to spot comets, which was not the initial intended use. So you never know, maybe your technology or your code can be applied for other stuff and help science grow. And of course, not the least, the last but not the least, the benefits to society that, of course, we, like I told you before, many think about the scientists and think about these people that are trapped in the laboratories doing stuff, but actually it's so important to be open about it, and increasing the public trust and understanding of what is science is much more than just being in a lab. And there's so many things related to it. So with more citizen scientists and non-experts involvement, this research process will get much more better results for society. It also helps attract a diverse set of participants, maximizing this diversity, this accessibility to other people that maybe are not necessarily targeted nowadays. And we can get more efficient science. This data can have actually anticipated uses like the one we just shared with the telescope. And not to mention the fact that if we know that someone has already done that, or a process that we want to apply, maybe we can spend less time and less energy to repeat studies that have already been done and save the capacity for something else, and maybe to improve something or to change something from what it's already been done. And why not even accelerating the pace of science by broadening and opening science and ideas and protocols and results to the society in general. We have like a broader scope of people who can give feedback and help improve stuff. And a good example of this was actually the rapid response that we had to COVID a couple of years ago, in which, thanks to being able to share the results, share where the people who are getting infected, and the results that the different research communities were getting onto how to tackle this pandemic. Thanks to this openness and the academic publishers that were committed to open access, some policies were accelerated and we could do more with the information and actually have less casualties than we would have otherwise. So we have arrived to the end of this first training. Hope you get an idea of what is open science, a little bit of why it's important and who does open science, but do not worry, there's a lot of things to learn. And if you want to, I will leave some other references for you to check, like the NASA TOPS Open Science Curriculum, which this training is based on. There's always also this amazing community of practice called the Turing Way, which they have a handbook to reproducible, ethical, and collaborative data science, which I recommend checking out. These and many other communities of practice that are really joined together in this, wanting to get science more and more open. And yes, of course, feel free to reach out if you ever have any doubt. But for now, we're going to end up the session with the last exercise. And the idea is for you to write in the shared document, how could your career, science, and our society benefit from integrating open science into your ongoing or maybe a new project that you're planning to do? So I will stop sharing now. I will copy.
We will have about 5 minutes. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure that we know the time because we are at the closing of our session. So we have about 5 minutes to add your thoughts to our PowerPad in here. And I'm just gonna paste it here as well. So you have an idea of what exercise you are on and what to do about it. Yeah, 5 minutes about from now. And I want to make sure that we can also address your questions. So should you feel that some of those questions were not answered, you could add that to our group Q&A, and I believe the team will arrange coaching, mentorship sessions that will help you address those, or we can also take it from the next session as well. So please make sure that you add the questions in about line number 242. Just gonna change because once you add, the lines change. Amazing. Add your questions as well. That's what I'm coming at. And there are other questions, should you wish to answer as well, which talks about what have you learned today, what things worked really well, and what could be improved. Those are also very much welcome. So you can multitask together right now in this 5 minutes. I believe in all of you, we can do this.
Yes, and of course, if anyone wants to ask a question or maybe mention out loud what they are writing or would like to write, feel free. We have, yes, a couple of minutes.
I'm gonna break the silence and the screen is looking so lovely when the answers are popping up. So I'm gonna try to eyeball again, kind of read through them. All right. Unnecessary novel approaches which cause more work on all the sides of the process. If successful approaches were shared more freely, a lot of pain would be avoided. True. Reinventing the wheel is perhaps not the best use of resources, which are limited from the beginning. So having a shared approach could definitely ease those levers and progress and add some more fuel into the momentum going there. More efficient, accurate research flows. Perfect. Increased collaboration, peer review of code, preprint, dataset, etc. Error checking of code, increased reproducibility. Awesome. error checking of the code. It's an interesting one. Using pre-commits and some kind of automation that can actually help you to analyze the value, like adding test things, small steps that could help you save days of debugging and fixing things like that. So 1,000 points to tests, right? Good test that helps you. More collaborators with individuals in different fields, with different perspective, the increased inclusion and accessibility. Beautiful. The more I engage with open science, the least I am thinking about the openness per se. I'm trying to embed the ethos of open science as I see it. Robust, integrity, and quality research. When I do research now, think of transparency, openness, component. I trace my research from beginning to end. Thinking about storage, sharing, reproducibility, all happens in a space of collaboration and trust among the people who think in the same way. Yes, love that. Keep it coming. You could definitely write more and also share with us.
Yes, and take advantage that you're all here maybe for the same reasons. And it's such a lovely feeling to know that so many people want actually to do better science, open science, to be more collaborative, more accessible. So this is a great opportunity to get to know each other, and who knows, maybe new ideas will come up.
Lovely. Increasing skepticism and fear of research and science in general. You're not to just do things out in the open, but in a very accessible to our critics. Yes, not just the good parts. We also need to address the not so good parts as well. So and this is a space where those thoughts are much welcomed, and all the experts who are gonna be interacting with you, the mentors who are gonna be helping you through your journeys are well equipped to give you a perspective on how their journeys have been and what really went well for them. So there might be some similarities, some differences that could be like directly teleported in your own journeys. So it's great that we have these both perspectives out in the open and we can really talk through them and not just see only the good parts. We know the good parts. We also need to know the not so good parts as well. Beautiful. I think we are 5 minutes are up. So I'm gonna again open the stage if any one of us want to go ahead and share their thoughts by unmuting themselves. I'm gonna live in 10 minutes of awkward silence and then I'm gonna start talking again. So 10 seconds to just come unmute and share your thoughts.
I can go again.
Yes, of course.
Okay. What I wrote down was that maybe for integrating this open science into new and ongoing project, especially the ongoing projects, it could benefit my career by increasing collaboration opportunities and having more data stewardship and reproducibility skills and interdisciplinarity connections. Since I am currently working in a monitoring program here in Patagonia, and before I joined the research group, they have all these messed up database, and the reason why I started doing these things was because maybe I wanted to standardize all their measurements, and I always think about someday we could standardize the ecology, the entire ecology. That's like my dream. So, for science, it can improve transparency. I think that's the most, to me, it's the most important thing. The reduce of the data and standardized methods within, for instance, a research institute, and for society, it can make scientific knowledge more accessible and support more evidence-based actions. I wrote down the not dogma, because sometimes the decision making is based on, it's not based in evidence. So I think this is very important, and also help to connect research with broader communities and real world challenges. Since I work in
Beautiful.
small scale fisheries, maybe that's always a big deal.
And it is truly a beautiful dream and something that we all kind of consume. We all consume your work, the work that every one of us are putting in the open science. And having a standardized way of approaching that is definitely the step forward towards gearing to a better, equitable, open way of accessing our own work and research prospects. Thank you so much for sharing. As we come closer to the end of our lovely session one, a couple of housekeeping bits. The Fromapad link is gonna be open and available. So should you have any questions popping even after the session, please feel free to add those in the Q&A section. And before we close, if you have any points for us, that also helps us to like tune the next couple of sessions, add more content, something that could be improved, something that could be modified. If any of those uh, thoughts are popping right now, please feel free to add them from line number 258. What have you learned today? What things worked really well? And what could be improved? We really read through them and try to improve our sessions, our cohorts. So, all thoughts are welcome. Once again, and that's from my end. And up next, you have the next call coming on June 4th. I'm just reading it out. So I hope that you have your calendars up there, and we have the a link over there as well. Kudos, lovely. We are through and through for session one, and it was lovely having you all with us. And thanks, Virginia, for that lovely session with the information, which really makes a lot of the upcoming sessions helpful. And we will connect those dots together. We will work towards building that puzzle. So thank you for everyone who joined us today, and hope to see you all in our next session. Feel free to drop, and or you have any questions, we are here.
Thank you, everyone, and good luck in this new cohort.
Thank you, Virginia.
you.